Hello! This is the Phoenix User Guide of the Self-Consumption Service. Today, by installing a PV system at home, we can exploit the harnessing of solar energy, which is destined to be used for covering the building's needs in terms of energy. At the time solar energy is consumed, there is less or no dependence on the grid, so self-consumption is achieved. At times that generation is higher than the building's load, there is generation surplus, which is the amount of power that wasn't directly consumed for the building's needs. When there is not enough solar power produced from the PV, the demanded energy is drawn from the grid. There are several ways to take advantage of the generation surplus. We can charge an EV during this period or use high-consumption appliances like an oven, a water heater, or a washing machine to prevent being charged a lot for direct consumption from the grid. If we have a battery storage available, we can also store energy for use later in the day or when there is a power cut at no cost. The self-consumption optimization service of the Phoenix platform provides to its users useful recommendations on how to better exploit their EV chargers and/or battery in order to achieve lower consumption of energy from the grid when there is a photovoltaic present. There is an extra service provided to the users of the Comma Pilot regarding blackout support. Given that the building manager is aware of a possible blackout at the next day, she can trigger the service during the previous day. For the first use case, where is an EV charger available combined with the PV, an optimization algorithm proposes to draw as much energy as possible from the PV at certain hours, when there is PV power excess forecasted. When it's predicted that there won't be enough PV power to charge the EV, the blue line indicates the hours to charge from the grid to have enough energy for a possible trip. The self-consumption rate indicates the percentage of the forecasted generated energy that is expected to be consumed in respect to the total predicted production, meaning how much of the produced energy will be exploited. On the other hand, the self-consumption factor expresses the percentage of the forecasted demand to be covered by the predicted generated energy, or in other words, at which extent we will be independent from the grid. For the second possible scenario, a PV is combined with a battery storage system. At the dashboard, you can find the Optimal Battery Usage tab, where the relevant demand and generation forecasts that were used for the proposed schedules are displayed. At the bottom graph, the optimal proposed schedules for charging the battery based on the above forecasts can be found. In this case, the self-consumption factor expresses the percentage of the PV power, along with the respective amount of power from the battery, which is expected to be exploited in respect to the total demand. Since there is a battery installed, further information is displayed, such as the battery state of charge and status, that can take different values such as off, charging, discharging, etc. For the last use case that combines the presence of a PV and a battery along with an EV, choose the option with EV from the drop-down. The provided demand and generation forecasts are the same for both scenarios that include a battery storage system, either with or without EV. Based on the above forecasts, the optimal proposed schedules for charging the battery and the EV are given at this graph. For a clearer graphical representation of the recommended power flows, you can choose which lines you wouldn't like to see on the graph by just clicking on them. Every day, when the proposed schedules are made available from the optimization engine, a notification is sent to the users of the respective building zones. If you navigate at the information page, you can filter, read, and rate the relevant self-consumption notifications. A manager can trigger the blackout support service from the at-a-glance page, one day before it is expected to happen. What happens is that an algorithm runs in the background and schedules when the battery should be charged or discharged, based on the generation surplus forecast. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or you need assistance, you can contact us.